Through all this, I had to depend on a lot of goddamn strangers. People I didn't fucking know. Now, this video, it's because, well, with Amanda Demet, she's one of the people that I went to for help. And, well, just like everybody with kids, they couldn't because they had kids. Couldn't because they had kids. Couldn't because they had kids. Now, I'm under a lot of stress, and I'm expected to understand. And I do. Well, the problem is people don't understand. They don't understand me. I don't understand how they can have emotions and they can feel those emotions and they're allowed to feel those emotions, but I'm told I need to let it go. Well, you know what? There's a big difference between having a loved one die and having a lot of loved ones die all at once. There's a big difference between being able to see your loved ones every day, being able to see the familiar people in your life every day, and constantly having to move. Without civilian oversight, none of these people were going to do anything. Without somebody like Amanda at the very beginning, or someone like Peaches at the very beginning, someone who said that they cared, who actually was willing to make that effort. I needed people to work together at the very beginning, but everybody had some excuse. And I say excuse because literally to this day, not a single one of them has ever made a police report about any of the things that they claim. They claim it, but they don't write it down, they don't turn it in. That includes Amanda Demet. She said that she is willing to help me with the Social Security stuff. With everything that I've gone to her about, you know, I think that money would be better served finding a way to end my existence. One of the things about Amanda Demet through all of this, through 5 years of this, with her in specific, some people longer, some people, like Miss Peaches, 6 years. Amanda Demet knew a lot about the situation. She knew a lot about the situation with my little brother, a lot about the situation with my sister. But, you know, through all of this, Amanda is one of those people who wanted to argue with me. And of course, I can't handle that. I need you to look. I don't need you to argue. But I've been patient with her, as patient as I can. There's a lot of stuff that she was involved with, and a lot of stuff that she was involved in that, you know, regardless of it being on YouTube, she has to come forward, just like Megan Misigatis needed to come forward. Without civilian oversight, though, these people get to pull these, well, as Marcia Estrada called it, sleight of hand. With Amanda Demet, she wasn't willing to look at it. She wasn't willing to help. She wasn't willing to do any of the things that needed to be done to clear my name. And so, just like many others, it hurt. It made me realize she didn't care how much people hurt me. It didn't matter how much people hurt me in the last 5 years. It didn't matter. It still doesn't matter. She's not going to do anything about that part. If you don't want to hear about the abuse that I'm going through and do something about it, if you're not willing to look at the evidence, what purpose is there in jumping through all of these hoops to not get help? For Amanda Demet, she doesn't have to go through this every single day. She's not stuck in a car, stranded in Mount Hood, Oregon. She wants to tell me things like, of course, yesterday she said, oh, well, people aren't threatening your sister anymore. Well, you know what? If they're not threatening her anymore, and she made that claim, then I need to take Tara to court. If she lied to me and she misrepresented the situation intentionally, then she needs to stand up and fess up to why she took advantage of me in the way that she did. Now, of course, there's some stuff that I gotta post up that is between me and my sister that, well, a lot of y'all probably think should be private. I can't keep it private. I can't. I can't just keep on taking this abuse because nobody who claims to care cares enough to look at the evidence. I had to go to strangers because my family didn't care, because my friends didn't care. Every single one of them wanted to fucking argue instead of look. And that includes Amanda Demet. With the situation with Megan Misigatis, when I tried to explain it to Amanda, and that was an argument. It wasn't a discussion. It was Amanda knew better than I did, and whether she intended to come across that way or not, that made it so that I had to basically force the situation, with her judging me based on a situation that she wasn't there for, and not understanding that I'm telling her the truth. She needs to call Megan Misigatis. This is a problem I had with literally everyone. That's not just Amanda, that's everyone. They didn't want to look, they just wanted to argue. They didn't want to find out about the abuse that I'm going through, and there's a lot of it. They didn't want to do anything to put a stop to it. And meanwhile, when people ask me for help, I don't make them beg for 6 years. Please help. Please be that civilian oversight. Please look. Please look and speak up. God damn it. Don't tell me anything you're not going to tell the fucking police. For Christ's sake. If you didn't tell the police, I can't believe that you're an honest person. I can't believe that you're a good person. I can't believe that you care about me. If you don't care about the abuse that I am going through and care to do anything to fucking stop it, if you're gonna push me to fucking suicide, god damn it, just shoot me, Christ. This is not complicated. But Amanda, she's got kids, and I'm expected to understand she's got kids. I'm expected to understand that all these other people have kids. No, 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 I don't give a fuck if you got kids. All right? Here's the thing. The kids always come first. They will always come first with me. Whether it's Amanda's kids or my sister's kids, my predator's kids, the kids always come first. If Tara's not being harassed or threatened, and people are leaving her alone about me, and she's in Chapel, Nebraska, well, I have a hard time believing anybody ever messed with Tara at all. with the multiple situations that Meg Misigatis was informed of, and she did absolutely fucking nothing about. Now she wants to jump across the timeline to try to rearrange things, to try to suit her fancy, to try to make it as if she hadn't done anything wrong. No, she absolutely did a lot wrong. She went out of her way to play fucking retarded. I mean, seriously, how can I respect somebody like that? How can I trust someone like that? So after Amanda telling me for 5 years that she can't help, she can't help, she can't help, she's got kids, and Megan Misigatis did a bunch of fucked up shit, and so did a lot of other people. If Amanda Demet's not going to look at the evidence, if she's going to argue with me, instead of take the situation as seriously as it does need to be taken, instead of talking to me like everything should be fine and dandy, it's not fine and dandy. It's not. I'm stranded in Mount Hood, Oregon. I had to fucking flee the state of Nebraska. Amanda Demet is not informed on the situation. She's been too busy with her own stuff. But at the same time, without her oversight, without her getting involved at the very beginning, I mean, here it is 5 years later. She's finally going to actually do something to help me. And it's just simply not going to help. It doesn't matter how many times I start over again with fucking nothing, having to start over with one person who could have helped out the whole time. All of these people could have worked together. None of them had time. All of them knew that this shit was going on. All of them were informed that this shit was going on. All of them were informed that I was doing my goddamn best. All of them were informed that I was being repeatedly abused. And no matter what, it didn't matter. They didn't fucking care. Amanda Demet did not care. If these people would have fucking butchered me, if they'd have fucking killed Tara, she wouldn't have fucking given a shit until they were actually dead. And then she'd have gone, oh shit, maybe I should have done something like everyone else did. If she takes a look at the evidence now, she's going to realize how fucked up she was by not looking ever, by not taking the time to look ever, by not speaking up ever. And now she's going to help to prolong my agony. See, without that money, without the Social Security, as soon as that money runs out, with my vehicle busted, they'll take my evidence. I'll have no longer any reason to live because I will no longer have any chance in hell of clearing my fucking name. But in 5 years of begging Amanda Demet for help with this, she has told me so many things that should have been told to the police and should have been documented and recorded. If Amanda Demet isn't going to help me in person to go through this evidence and turn in my predators, if none of you are going to go through this evidence with me in person and help me to turn in my fucking predators, you don't care about me. You don't give two shits about me. And I want to believe I do, because Amanda Demet hasn't fucking thrown all that evil shit at me or tried to throw situations that she wasn't there for in my face as if I'm some horrible person because she wants to believe what somebody else said instead of look at evidence. And that's not to say she hasn't done that. The argument that I had with her about whether or not it was Meg Missigatis' job to do that or not, and me through that entire thing. I mean, I'm wanting to scream at the top of my lungs for her just to shut the fuck up. But she's someone I care about. She's someone whose help that I do need. I have needed her help since day one. I've needed Laura Nelson's help since day one. These are both people who know me. They're both people who are aware of autism. They're aware of the bullshit in Chapel, Nebraska. Now, between the two of them, well, Laura Nelson did some pretty fucking monstrous shit. Amanda Demet didn't do any of that monstrous shit. The problem is, when you are disabled, this is how everyone treats you. It's not just Amanda Demet. All of you do that. All of you. You tell me you're sorry. You tell me you're sorry. You tell me you're sorry. You tell me you're sorry until literally the only thing left for me to do is blow my fucking head off because you're not going to help. You're just sorry. At that point, yeah, you are sorry. At that point, I can't handle your I'm fucking sorries. I can't handle you telling me that you care about me and showing me that you don't give two shits how much people hurt me. You don't give two shits. After 5 years, all you're willing to do is the Social Security crap. No, absolutely not. I went to all of these mandated reporters for help stopping abuse, not getting Social Security. When I went to Tamara at the very beginning of all of this, I didn't go to Tamara and Nicole Peralta just to fucking bitch at them about shit that they're not going to do anything about. They're the people I was told to go to for help stopping this abuse. But because I didn't have an address and because I had to depend on alcoholics and drug dealers. And this whole time, there's somebody there. There's one person I know, one person that I know in real life who knows me and throughout the years made me feel like she might actually care about me as a human being and care about what people were doing to me and care to actually stop it, who was actually informed enough about me and informed enough about autism and knew my family well enough to know that I was telling the truth about them. I mean, of all the people that I knew, Amanda Demet was the one person that I thought for sure, you know what? This is somebody who will speak up. This is somebody who will speak up for my rights. This is somebody who will look at the evidence. But she didn't, and she didn't, and she didn't. And I don't have it in me to jump through a bunch of hoops just for me to be left without a support network, for me to be left alone, subject to the fucking abuse that I have to go through because nobody actually gives a shit enough to fucking turn it in. Nobody cares enough to look at the evidence. They want to argue like I'm retarded. With Amanda Demet, with her arguing with me before she made that call to Meg and got that situation cleared up. You know, she was absolutely 100% positive in her head, in her own opinion, that this was 100% Meg's job. And either I was bullshitting her or Meg was fucking breaking the law. Well, it turns out Meg was breaking the law. It doesn't matter if she's a volunteer or not. But Amanda's not going to push that. She's not going to push any of this. She knows these things. And I am wholeheartedly willing to work with her with the Social Security thing to try to get that going. But it can't be a thing where I am given Social Security and then fucking ignored for another 5 goddamn years, or being told I'm sorry for the next 5 goddamn years and taking abuse over this shit for the next 5 goddamn years. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I begged people to kill me for a whole year, over a year before Natalie was killed, because nobody fucking cared. Not one single friend actually cared to listen. Just like with Amanda Demet, it was an argument. An argument over something that was so simple. So simple to cure. All we had to do was have a 3-way telephone call between myself, Amanda, and Megan Misigatis to clear that up. That's all it took. With Amanda Demet, by that time, Megan Misigatis was fucking pissed at me. By that time, I'd fucking had enough of Megan Misigatis and her goddamn excuses. But you know what? Megan Misigatis doesn't fucking know me from Adam. She doesn't know me in real life. She doesn't know who I really am. Amanda Demet does, and to this day she has never spoken up for me. To this day she has never made an attempt to share my story. To this day, no matter how much I love Amanda, no matter how much hell I would go through for her, no matter how much I would sacrifice for her and her family, I'm not worth that to anyone. I have never been worth that to anyone, ever, my entire life. I'm worth the I'm sorries. When other people, they have family members who die, they're allowed to mourn. And I allow them that. I allow them to mourn. But with all of these people, I was not allowed. I was thrown the expectations that obviously these people did not hold for themselves. I was held accountable for the crimes of others, for their misrepresentations of others, for the assumptions of others, for the lies and the slander of others, and not one person would actually look at the evidence and help me to share it. Not one person wanted to understand that without them speaking up, without one person, not 500 people, not 1,000 people, not 50 people, not 30 people, just one person to look at it from the fucking beginning and fucking speak out instead of giving me years of fucking excuses. And god damn it, they are excuses. Not one of you son of a bitches ever came forward to the fucking cops about it. Not one. Not one person admitted or even tried to admit in court that I went to them for help. Not even Amanda Demet. But she's the only person that I have that I can trust, and I don't trust her because she's blown me off so many times. And repeatedly, even knowing that she is pushing me to suicide, she still repeats those same words, knowing that that's what it does to me. When she makes videos about her emotions and her situations, I can listen to those things and I listen to it as if it's a story. I don't listen to it to interject or to tell her how to think or how to feel. I listen to it because when she speaks, She's someone that I love and care about very much. And I want her to be happy, and I want her and her family to be safe. And if there's something where she's reaching out, I will offer to help every time. When people say you need to just worry about yourself, no, I don't get to just worry about myself. I don't get to. I am treated like I am a horrible person for telling the truth. I am abused frequently and often. And when people tell me that their lives are being threatened, that their families are being threatened, that the reason that they're not going to help me is because police are threatening them, because the Bollinger family is threatening them, because internet nut jobs are threatening them. Amanda Demet with the situation with my sister where she says that Tara's not being threatened anymore. Well, you know what? Tara took $1,800 from me. Fucking did not listen to me about the situation with Ed. I decided to give him a chance and asked for a bid. I didn't ask him to fucking erase the whole computer full of evidence. After the fact, my little sister, of course, not knowing that I had 9.5 hours of audio recording on the situation, my little sister tried to play off something that I had recorded. And she tried to play it off to protect her friend Ed, the one that she just kept on ditching me to go hang out with. As soon as she got what she wanted, it was time to ditch Sean. As soon as I spent my money, it was time to ditch Sean. Now, the worst part of that whole situation is my sister didn't catch anything on camera in that entire time. From the time when I first bought her cameras, before I went to fucking prison, to the situation when I got out. Nothing. Not one vandal. Not so much as one leaf that was disturbed by a human touch in the direction of her camper. Meanwhile, my evidence shows actual crimes. Hers shows, well, basically a fucking complete and total tweaker mentality. And as much as I love my sister, as much as I love my niece, if my sister misrepresented the situation, she didn't just put myself and herself and destiny at risk, she put a lot of other people's lives at risk. And of course, she assisted my predators in getting away with the crimes they committed, and that includes Ed. While I have to take responsibility for not closely monitoring him, especially after he admitted that he was schizoaffective. You know, my sister probably should have thought about the situation and probably should have made sure that she was a little bit more informed instead of blowing me off every time that she got what she wanted and going elsewhere. I wanted my sister to sit down with me and actually look at the fucking evidence and verify it. But she couldn't do that. Now, with Amanda Demet, between arguing and listening to 9 hours worth of my sister and I in the situation, you know, Amanda will probably argue with me again. Say I should have done this and I should have done that. But just like everyone else, Amanda hasn't taken the time to actually look at the evidence. The reason that I was sending the stuff to Megan Misigatis is because I didn't want to overburden Amanda, especially with her own things going on. With her own stuff, with her own life, with her own family. But also, once you are already involved in a situation and you know that somebody is being abused, if you claim to love them but you never come forward. You never speak up, and the only way to speak up at this point is publicly. Is Amanda Demet going to speak up publicly for me? Is she going to sit down with me and look at that evidence? There's a guy who called himself Iron Horse Tate, and he lived, I want to say, 4.5 hours away from Amanda, which is a lot closer than Oregon is by a long shot. But of course, with him, just it's gaslighting, I mean, maybe he got arrested, maybe he's gaslighting. I can't prove either way because I don't know that guy. But I do know that stuff up on my YouTube and my Facebook so I could prove it, show it. I did inform Amanda. And of course, one of the primary reasons for that is because if I was in Alabama, even if it's a 4-hour drive to go see her, or a 16-hour bus ride, because it is, well, when Iron Horse Tate, the second time, ghosted me again, well, maybe he went back to jail again. Maybe he never went to jail to begin with. I don't know. I'm not there. I just have to believe people when they tell me something because I don't have the means or the ability to verify a lot of this stuff. It takes money. The only thing that you can do if you don't have money when you're in a situation like this is to go to friends and family, and the Social Security isn't good enough. Social Security will not get me a guardian. Social Security is not going to stop the abuse or change the fact that I was railroaded in these court dates illegally. Now, when it's a situation like with Mandy Singer, I had to understand her situation, and she understood mine, except when she was, of course, having a lot of issues of her own mentally because she was overstressed and overburdened. And if I'd have been there a week earlier, according to her anyway, if I'd have been at her house a week earlier, then she would have been able to help me, and she wouldn't have had to do all this stuff with her family because of the whole COVID thing and all that. But instead, the stresses that were created in the situation by the assault by Scott DaCosta and the repeated abuse by Scott DaCosta in the Dual County Sheriff's Department, I'm arguing with assholes that I don't even fucking know because people that I do know, who know who I am, and they know my content of character, and they know my quality of character. After the fact, when people found out, like I said, with my dad, for example, when he found out that I was autistic, and even though that particular neurologist is, well, I want to say 11 at the time, 11 or 12. Even though he was one of the best specialists in his field, especially in Washington State, he was definitely the number one person in his field. And it was expensive to go see him. And in our first visit, I remember the doctor and my dad discussing whether or not we needed to get me tested for autism. And that's not the first time I'd heard that. I've been hearing that since I was a kid. They were saying that this is in the 90s, so they were saying that there was a pretty heavy correlation between high intelligence and Asperger's, which at the time was still an actual diagnosis. And the doctor basically explained that if I have Asperger's, it doesn't mean that I'm retarded, but there's basically they have a thing where you sit in a room and they observe you and they give you different stimuli, and Um, Me and my dad discussed it. We discussed the pros versus the cons of getting such a diagnosis. And we decided, even though this guy was the number one guy to go to in Washington State, and he's like in the top 50 in the country, according to my dad, he was like the second best in the country. But you got to be really rich to afford somebody like that. But the thing is, as soon as my dad found out that I was autistic, or that I might be, it went from, my dad bragging to everybody about how smart his son was, and telling everybody how smart his son was, and reinforcing my self-esteem with positive reinforcement because I was intelligent and highly intelligent. But from that day on, I was wrong no matter what. No matter what the situation, no matter who it was with. When it was a situation where I was being bullied at school for being a white kid, and my dad said a lot of things about that situation, that being as he wasn't the one going to the school, he didn't fucking know. He was talking out his ass. And that's the same thing when people tell me I need to just let it go. They're talking out their ass because they don't know what the fuck is going on. With Amanda Demet, I am thankful for the person that she is. And I have given her a whole lot of leeway and a whole lot of understanding when it comes to her family, because she's right. She's absolutely right about her family. Unlike most of these people, she can verify her stuff. But also, if you care about somebody, you would think that in 5 years' time that you would come forward with the fact that somebody had come to you for help repeatedly. Write it down in a police report. When you send it in an email, make sure that you're including me in that email, and send it out as a string so that multiple people will see it. So the cops know if they don't do their job, they are monitored by civilians who are going to fucking speak up. Instead of having to go to cowards like Megan Missegatis, who doesn't know the first thing about me. With Brandon Ratner, when he needed my help because, well, he needed everybody's help because his brother disappeared. I spent several days doing everything I could to try to help find his brother, and it didn't take me 30 seconds to get started on it. With speaking out for me or looking at evidence, most of these people, I've been arguing for 5 years. Please look at the evidence. Please look. With Amanda, you know what? I'd love to go and see her and give her a hug and tell her I love her and tell her I miss her. But I'm never going to get to do that. I won't ever get to do that unless my name is cleared. But without people looking at evidence and sharing it, I just want my life to end. When I literally have to beg you to kill me to get your fucking attention, because it is that serious of a situation. Most of these situations where I contacted Amanda, it was, well, similar to the situation with Natalie Bollinger. When I was being threatened, when I was assaulted, when people threatened to kill my sister, I made sure that I let Amanda Demet know about all of it. I made sure she was as well informed as I could make her. I do believe that Amanda cares. I do believe that she's willing to help me out with the Social Security disability. I just don't believe she's going to help in the way that I've needed her to help since before Natalie was killed. I'm half asleep and my words aren't coming out right. The sun is just now starting to come up. I'm afraid to do anything. I'm afraid to sleep. I'm afraid to be honest. If I'm honest with people, they tend to do horrible things to me. Because most folks, contrary to popular belief, they want to be lied to. I know there's a lot of evidence, and it's overwhelming, and it's too much to look through. Especially, I'm sorry, I started dozing off and dreaming about blackberries. I don't even remember what I was talking about, so I better end the video. I do love Amanda, and I love her kids. But if you're not going to help me clear my name, if you're not going to help me clear my name, you're pushing me to suicide. When you say those pretty words, I know that it's social programming and you say them because you're expected to, but when you say those pretty words, it makes me want my life to end immediately because it shows me that, well, it shows history. A history of a lot of people doing that. A lot of people, when they were called out, wanted to play like I never tried, like I never made the effort. I'm still making the effort. I've been 5 months without a shower. I'd say it'd be nice to have a... Ah, fuck it. I'm dozing off again. Moral of the story, it doesn't matter how much you love somebody. The thing is, if they don't love you in return, they can hurt you very badly. And I'm not talking about boyfriend and girlfriend. My older brother Eric, he let me know loud and clear he'd rather see me dead than hear my side. As much as I love Amanda, if she starts going through the evidence to try to help me with the SSI disability stuff, it still doesn't do anything about why I'm abused or why I need help. You can love somebody and be angry at their assumptions. You can love somebody and be angry that they abuse you or that they abuse others. Amanda doesn't abuse me. I'm sorry, I'm having difficulties communicating because I've got multiple situations that I'm reliving at the moment. I'll have sleep. I won't be able to get sleep because I'm exhausted and half asleep, and if that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry it doesn't make sense. The fact is that it does make sense when somebody is in a heightened state of awareness, which is something that happens often when you threaten somebody's family. Fuck, I better end this video.